Hello and welcome back to Total Extreme Morrow. We're the best. Book wrestling. The penultimate episode of season 1 of Total Extreme Morrow. There'll be an update in the ultimate episode next week, the Starrcade episode, of what the future of Total Extreme Morrow will entail. It'll go away for a few weeks, but it will be coming back. And it'll look quite different. It won't look different. The game looks the same. But it'll be different. But look, we got business to take care of today. Medusa. Torn meniscus. It's time for first class flights to Mexico. To my dodgy doctor. Let's see how the surgery goes for Medusa. Click to perform. Clicking. Are you sure you want to go ahead with it? Absolutely. Complete success. All the naysayers have been saying, I have a dodgy doctor, a butcher, in fact, below in Mexico, doing dodgy surgeries. In reality, it's really only Barry Windham's surgery that was... how shall we say it, a botch job. Poor Barry Windham got a botch job. We've had successful surgeries for Big Van Vader, due back quite soon, a couple of months. Medusa, we won't see her again. Sean Waltman, 6 months. Few banger shows lined up today. It's actually a kind of a short turnaround. If we look... There's only 3 episodes of TV before Clash of Champions 20. I considered moving Clash of Champions 20 back a week and having 4, but I kind of like the long build to Starrcade. We get an elongated build to Starrcade, and I think that would be nice for the last episode for it to be a bit longer. It'll be, our last time with this cast of characters for a while. And I think a nice long build to Starrcade would be good. It'll be a little bit of a challenge for me as well in terms of keeping the booking interesting for 6 weeks rather than 4 or 3. But 4 has been kind of the general throughout the whole series. I think Super Brawl earlier in the series may have had 6. But yeah. We're going to go with a shortened build for Clash Champions. I'm trying to do something a little different with the card. Shake it up a little bit. Kind of do some more out-of-the-box matchups. It's Clash Champions. They're like essentially even lower level B pay-per-views. They don't do the numbers. They're midweek. They do nowhere near the same numbers as the named pay-per-views, we'll call them. So I thought, maybe we just do something a little different with it. It's not totally different. Like, there's still a lot of singles matches and that kind of stuff. But I wanted to kind of do some odd matchups and put some people on the card that maybe haven't been seen on pay-per-view. Like, I'm actually going to do the Miracle Violence Connection Can-Am Express stip match on TV before it. That's not going to be on the pay-per-view. I'm going to use that as a TV main event. So stuff like that, like just kind of shuffle things around and play with the formula a little bit. Seeing as I do go on All Elite Morrow every Monday night and complain about how formulaic TV wrestling has become. Despite the fact that I have no ideas myself in terms of how you would shake up that formula. But yeah, let's get into it. Time for WCW Ground Zero. Really regret that name. Stick some names in the comments of what I should have called it. Maybe I can change it. I can still probably change it. Stick some names in the comments. We'll change it for the last episode. Ground Zero sucks. I hate it. Doing a little, not a one-night tournament, a two-night tournament. The winner will face Ricky Steamboat at Clash of Champions. The 4 contestants are Shawn Michaels, Big Scott Hall, Dustin Rhodes and Ron Simmons. The winner to face Steamboat for the title at Clash of Champions 20. And then just loads of good wrestling on this card. Couple of angles setting things up. Plenty to get into. Some good tag matches, some good singles matches. Decent little pre-show too, actually. Style and Substance, Gilbert and Lane. I don't know why their name didn't come up there. Because it's not. It's Gilbert and Tommy Rich. Anyway. Minomi Toyota beats Leilani Kai. Very good match. Setting up our last match of the tournament. Beautiful Bobby beats Ultimo Dragon in the opener. Very good match. Bobby wasn't great. Ultimo was good. And then afterwards, we're getting a promo from Flair and his crew, who are confronted, or it's actually Flair and Pillman really doing the talking, and they're confronted by Sting upon Sting being cheated out of his match by Tully and Arn last night against Pillman for the US title. They begin to beat down Sting, but Sting is saved by Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, and Lex Luger, who once again comes to his rescue. And then it's announced that Sting and Luger will team. Turn compromise didn't work out really well. Yeah. Anyway, who cares? The turn didn't go down particularly well. It's Lex Luger. He can't do anything right. The guy can't do anything right. He can't even turn face. Helping Sting. He can't turn face helping Sting. This is his last chance. It's Sting and Luger teaming tonight in the main event versus Tully and Arn. Liger, great performance. Beats Jerry Lynn. Decent match. Liger was fantastic here. Promo from Dustin Rhodes, who's in the tournament. Rick Rude is aghast. Aghast, he says, that he's not in the tournament. Now, he gives Paulie a bit of stick as his manager, his representative. He's supposed to get him access to things like these. And it's Dustin who is in said tournament facing off tonight. So Dustin claims he's going to win the tournament. Rude doesn't look particularly pleased about this. This, it's not really going anywhere immediately, but I'm sowing seeds in case I continue WCW into 1993. Just sowing some seeds. Sowing some seeds. This won't be paid off before Starrcade or anything like that. Shawn Michaels beats Big Scott Hall. Shawn Michaels advances to the final of the tournament to take on Steamboat. Not great from Scott Hall. Very good from Shawn Michaels. Gary Hart is interviewed by Eric Bischoff along with Steve Williams and Terry Gordy, and they reveal the stipulation for their match with the Can-Am Express on TV in 2 weeks, and that it will be a double dog collar match, ending this feud once and for all. Now it's weird, I called this double dog collar, right? The name of the segment, I named it double dog collar. That doesn't show up anywhere on screen. I find that really weird. Why am I naming a segment? I wonder, will it, at the end of show, will it say double dog collar? But like, on the end of show screen, it's not really immersive, is it? Let's just see if it shows up the end of show. Maybe I have to put it into the description or something for it to show up here. But you'd imagine if you name a segment, it would show up on the screen that this segment is being shown. We'll find out. Can-Am Express beat Eddie and Negro Casas in a friggin' fantastic match. Can-Am Express are on a hot streak. Negro Casas and Eddie Guerrero have built up a fantastic tag team, to be perfectly honest. Their performances are probably on average better than Can-Am Express. Now, this isn't the best Can-Am Express performance we've had. We've had performances in the 80s for them in their feud with Miracle Violence Connection, but still, this is still a very good performance from all four of them, and an even better, very good performance from our boy Eddie Guerrero. Bam Bam just runs through Diamond Dallas Page. Seemed off his game. Performed quite well for a guy who's his first match in the company. He will obviously, when those performances, like 69 is a really good baseline for first match. That will continue to increase as he builds momentum. And he gets attacked by Stone Cold after Steve Austin, not Stone Cold. He's not Stone Cold yet. He's a long way from being Stone Cold. But he's a Stone Cold killer. And he attacks Bam Bam after the match, but he doesn't necessarily get the better of him. The two of them have a huge brawl around the ringside and have to be broken up by officials. Then we get Ron Simmons defeats Dusty Rhodes by pinfall with a spine buster. And Dusty Rhodes has come back and attacked Dustin Rhodes as part of the finish in the match. So Dusty Rhodes has returned following the beatdown from Dustin, his son, several weeks ago. This is the first we've seen of Dusty in that time away. He was left battered and bleeding by his own son, Dustin. Dusty has returned and attacked Dustin and cost him his spot in the tournament to go on and face Ricky Steamboat at Clash of Champions 20. So the final of that tournament now will be Ron Simmons versus Shawn Michaels on TV next week. The third meeting of those two, Ron Simmons has got the better of that one we've seen recently. So the winner of Ron Simmons and Shawn Michaels will face Ricky Steamboat at Clash of Champions, and we'll see how Dustin reacts to being cost his chance at the world title by his own father. Familial drama. Ricky Steamboat cuts a promo on the participants of the tournament, saying he's looking forward to defending against whoever at the pay-per-view because he is a fighting champion. Try and keep all he's not great on the mic. I try and just keep things super simple. Tell him to just do very generic babyface promo. If we see booking details, does it tell us what our road agent notes? No, it doesn't tell us, but you basically pick what style of promo for him to give. I was giving him kind of character development ones and shit earlier in the year. He wasn't performing in them, so I've kind of landed on generic. He's able to do generic quite well, as you can see from a segment rating of 87. Into the main event, Sting and Luger beat Tully and Arn in 15 minutes. Quite a good match. Luger's still not great, but that's probably hindered by his confusing turn, or not his confusing turn, his underwhelming turn earlier in the show. Yes, look, it does say double dog collar here in the name of the segment. So it shows up here, but not on the other screen. Okay, let's see if I can figure out a way of getting to show up what I wanted to say on the screen where the segment's been played. Yeah, we'll be back for the next episode of WCW Ground Zero, question mark, because that won't be the name for much longer. Yeah, before we get into this week's WCW Ground Zero, have I done that thing again? What's with the focus? Is it because I keep moving back and forth? Is the focus off? The light is very bright. Nice. I'm looking good. I'm on this screen over here. Game's on this screen. All you lovely people on this camera. Piece of business has occurred. Quite a big piece of business. Got a notification on the news screen that Jumbo Tsuruta is confirmed to be leaving All Japan. He wasn't offered a new contract. So I snapped him up on essentially a handshake agreement. We'll fly him in and out. We'll pay him $300 per show. Guarantee him $1,400 a month. He was on $90,000 a month in All Japan, and they elected not to renew his contract. His skills are still unbelievable. His body's in great shape. Yeah, he's 41. Doesn't look like there's any decline happening here. Like psychology 94, basics 92, stamina 91, technical 80, puro 84. Like, this guy has everything. One of the best wrestlers of the 80s, possibly the best. Maybe, obviously, Flair and Funk existed as well. But yeah, they elected not to renew his contract. And I thought, fuck it, I'll bring him in. I'm fucking bringing him in. Of course we can do something with Jumbo for like 3 to 6 months. Absolutely doing something with Jumbo. So yeah, that's just a piece of business that has occurred. over the last week. He got it over the line for TV tonight. His contract doesn't end for another 24 days, so I think it's the 30th of November is when he will become available to us. We could use him in an interesting spot at Starrcade. We can use him on TV every week. He looks to be still close to his prime. Why would we not want Jumbo? Tonight we have the finals of each block of the women's tournament. So we have Akira Kahuto versus Linus Asuka, and we have Bull Nakano versus Minomi Toyota. The winner of each of those will face next week for the International Women's Grand Prix, the inaugural tournament. We have Shawn Michaels versus Ron Simmons in the final of the tournament to face Steamboat at the pay-per-view, Clash of Champions. And we just have other stuff setting up Clash of Champions as well. Harlem Heat just giving them a win against a couple of jobbers, my own son, on the undercard. This was a dead rubber of a match, so Monster Ripper beats Woman Star. Both of them had good showings in the tournament. They're putting in very good work. Like, stuff in their 60s for their level of popularity is excellent. The show opens with the Four Horsemen defeating Ultimo Dragon, Diamond Dallas Page, Eddie, and Negro Casas. Fantastic opener. Medusa, while injured, I've put her in as a manager, managing specifically Pillman. I believe they had beef in real life. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But yeah, they have pretty good chemistry, so it's fine. Very good performance across the board. Flair was awesome. Pillman was awesome. Ultimate Dragon, very good. Negro, very, very good. Eddie, awesome. So yeah, just wanted to get the show off to a hot start. We cut backstage to a challenge from Cactus Jack, Lex Luger, Sting, and Terry Funk. They want... Lex Luger was very poor in trying to improvise dialogue. Can you do anything right? Can you do anything right, Lex? It's amazing. Before the Vader injury, the plan was Lex beats Vader at Starrcade to finish the series. Thank God we didn't go down that route, because I would have had to pivot. This guy is dreadful. He can't do a face turn, seemingly can't wrestle, he can't cut a promo, he has a great look, but what do you do? What do you do, Lex? These four Sting Squadron have challenged the Four Horsemen for a 4v4 match on WCW Ground Zero next week. Minomi Toyota versus Bull Nakano, very good match. Bull Nakano picks up the victory, and Block B has finished with Bull Nakano as the winner. Bull advances into the final of the International Women's Grand Prix. The plan here before Medusa's injury was actually Toyota beats Nakano in this match, and that would have set up a three-way match between Minomi Toyota, Bull Nakano, and Medusa for next week on TV to determine the finalists, because they all would have tied for points with one loss, 4 wins each on the top of the group, and they all would have beaten each other. So the plan was for that to end in a deadlock and have to do a triple threat for the winner of Block B, essentially. But with Medusa's injury, the way Bull Nakano was always the plan to go through to the final, but I thought you could get a cool little three-way match out of it as well. Unfortunately, with Medusa's injury, if I had Minomi Toyota beat Bull Nakano here, because Toyota had a loss to Medusa, Medusa had a loss to Nakano, and the plan was Nakano to have a loss to Toyota, there would have been no way to separate them at the top. That was the way I booked the tournament, but because of Medusa's injury, if I had Toyota beat Nakano here, Toyota would have topped the group on head-to-head over Nakano. And I didn't want to put Minomi Toyota into the final of the tournament. So unfortunately, she had to eat the loss here, but I thought it'd be a good way to get her hot by beating Nakano, and then Nakano to win the triple threat. I would have kind of kept the two of them very hot. I thought Anna would have got what I thought would have been a cool match out of it as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. So I just had to have Nakano win with the guillotine leg drop. We see a brief interaction between myself, Bill Watts, and Steve Austin backstage. Bill has warned Steve that he's giving him a gift and a curse. Steve can have Bam Bam at Clash of Champions 1v1. However, Steve will be suspended for 30 days if, as will Bam Bam, if they lay hands on each other before Clash of Champions. The scenes last week with all those officials having to get involved was unseemly on national television, and Bill wants to avoid a repeat of the likes of Magnum TA and all these guys having to run out to ringside and try and break up two warring maniacs. Then we get Bam Bam just running through Robert Gibson. Already Bam Bam has improved again. So he's up to a 73. He probably picked up some momentum with the win over DDP last week and the highly rated brawl angle with Austin. So yeah, Bam Bam's improving in his performance. We'll give him another kind of a semi-squash match on TV next week. So hopefully by the time he gets to the pay-per-view with Austin, those performances will have increased again. And let's just check. Has he... Yeah, look, he's got good momentum already. And that's just from 2 segments and a match. So hopefully that'll increase the great momentum before the pay-per-view. And it'll just mean him and Austin have a higher chance of a banger. Here they have just a promo battle, and Steve Austin says the match is made official. However, Austin has challenged Bam Bam for a no disqualification falls count anywhere match. That's why I had him brawling outside the ring, you see, setting things up logically. What do you think of that, Shane? Rick Rude and Paulie dangerously. This is off-site. This isn't happening in the arena. Rick Rude has called dangerously out to his ranch, house, mansion, whatever he lives in. Possibly Rick Rude strikes me as someone who resides in a villa. So he has invited Paulie dangerously to his villa for a sit-down as to why he wasn't included, why Paul didn't get him into the number 1 contender tournament, the mini tournament. And why is he paying Paulie dangerously his 10% of his salary as his manager if Paulie isn't going to get him into these type of tournaments? Paul promises that great things are lined up in the future for Rick Rude. And Akira Hakuto has gone undefeated in the block by beating Linus Asuka in another very good match. Hakuta is on fantastic form. Linus Asuka is one of the most improved women's wrestlers on the roster. So we get Akira Hakuta versus Bull Nakano in the final of the tournament. Both of them are undefeated up to that point. We get a great 6-man tag match, and it's Chris Jericho submits Jerry Estrada with the Line Tamer. So it's very possible here that young Chris Jericho could have a title shot at El Dandy at Clash of Champions, and we'll see how Chris gets on. We're just going to throw him into the deep end. This is one of those kind of things I was talking about. People that you may not expect getting onto the pay-per-view. That's what I kind of wanted to achieve. And oh yeah, so I've changed where I put in. I didn't name the segment. I put this in the description. There's a descriptor box that I put this in. So the Can-Am Express, through the words of their manager Paul Ellering, have accepted the double dog collar match main event for Ground Zero next week. Miracle Violence Connection instantly go out and beat the Fantastics in a very competitive 13 and a half minute match. Steve Williams, incredible. Terry Gordy, incredible. Excellent match overall. Jackie Fulton struggled to keep up with the rest. He's the least over of them all. But the Fantastics have come in. They've put in very solid performances in the tag division. We rewarded them with a tag title shot. They were never going to be at the top of the division. But they've proven that they'll be able to come in and have excellent matches on TV and pay-per-view with our top tag teams. So the key there, what we want to do with them is, yeah, they might lose to the likes of Miracle Violence Connection, maybe the Can-Am Express, maybe the Steiners, maybe Tully and Arn, but they'll probably be a tier above everyone else as a result of their Fantastics performances. Dusty isn't in the arena. Dustin Rhodes cuts a promo on Dusty. Dusty hasn't shown up tonight. His cowardly actions last week. Dustin accuses Dusty of being jealous that Dustin can win the world title. Should have had the opportunity to win the world title younger than Dusty ever did. And that's what he accuses Dusty of, jealousy, and says he wants to see him face to face next week when we're in New York. We're in Caesar's Palace, actually, in Vegas, sold out. So we're going to New York next week. He says he wants Dusty there. He wants to look into his father's eyes and tell him he's better than him. And then Shawn Michaels beats Ron Simmons. Not a great match. It was decent. It was decent match. A little kind of probably close to a 4-star match. Fine. And then we get a face down, Ricky Steamboat and Shawn Michaels after the match. Ricky Steamboat offers to shake Michaels' hand. Michaels bails. And we're on to the next show. Decent show overall. Some really great stuff. MVC with a banger. The sit down in Rude's villa with Paulie and Rude came across very well as a segment. Dustin Rhodes promo. I'm delighted to see Dustin starting to do this kind of stuff. I think the heel turn was good for him. And the Four Horsemen match, these were kind of the highlights of the show. Probably Bigelow and Stunning Steve underperformed slightly, I would say. I don't know what Bam Bam's what would you call it, his promo ability really is. I probably hung him out to dry there by putting it out for 7 minutes, and I was kind of hoping that Steve Austin's exceptional promo ability would carry the segment. But yeah, we learn from that. We learn. We got the go home show, one more show before Clash of Champions. That's a stacked show. We're doing the double dog collar match in the main event. We're also doing the final of the International Women's Grand Prix, and we have that announced 4v4 between the Four Horsemen and Sting's squadron. We're also going to have a contract signing between Ricky Steamboat and Shawn Michaels. So we're taking that to the New York market. We're going to probably go into Madison Square Garden. We have Madison Square Garden booked. We're going into the Garden with a stacked show and a double dog collar main event. So that is going to be huge. And we've signed Jumbo Saruta on a per date deal. I'm not going in signing Rick Steiner MVP. In a bizarre rant on radio last night, Rick Steiner made a claim to being the real MVP of WCW and went on to say he should be main eventing. He said that politics were the only thing holding him back. Gonna have to have words with Rick Steiner, aren't I? Gonna have to have words. Oh, I bought Ladies Pro Wrestling of America. They were struggling for money. So if we go over here, LP, where are the... I think it's Ladies Pro Wrestling of America. It's not that one. That's the other one. Yeah. Oh no, Ladies Pro Wrestling Association. They were in debt. So I bought them. See, I can only close them down. I can't take over. So they're mine. So a cool thing on that is if you go into child companies, you see them there as their child company. I've put Debbie Combs in as CEO. I've sent Ole down to book, or I brought Ole back down to book the promotion. I probably need to sort out their TV deal and stuff. How do I do that? Do I do that here? Do you see it in there? It said their TV deal is coming up. So yeah, I'll try and figure that out, I suppose. Yeah, I thought it'd be a good place for developing talent, essentially. That was the plan there. Yeah, we'll be back for the next show. Rocking and rolling, double dog collar main event. I hope it's a banger. Pre-show, Great Asuka beats my son. Big Sexy beats Van Hammer. And in the opener, we went for a long opener with a lot of star power. And Cactus Jack submits Tully Blanchard. Exceptional opening match. Over 18 minutes. 8 of the biggest stars in the company. Well, 7 plus fucking Lex Luger. Bam Bam destroys Z-Man. And then after the match, this is, now we know Bam Bam's microphone skills aren't great, but I needed to do this. Bam Bam has declined the no holds barred Falls Count Anywhere match versus Steve Austin. He's turned down the no holds barred match, Falls Count Anywhere, and he's hit Austin back with he wants a traditional Texas death match in Texas. A Clash of Champions 20. Austin instantly accepts. We've got Bam Bam versus Austin, Texas death. Pinfall followed by 10 count. The only way to finish this match. Rick Rude beats Dean Malenko. A fantastic match. Should have known, really. I just threw these two together because I thought, hey, I'd say that would have been a banger back in the day. Backstage, we get this. Sting and Lex Luger have approached and challenged the Steiners for a tag title match after their big victory in the opener. Sting and Lex Luger want a tag title match versus Steiners at Clash of Champions. Beautiful Bobby Eaton beats Negro Casas. Very good match. We get promos backstage. Cactus Jack has challenged Ric Flair 1v1 at Clash of Champions. Terry Funk challenges Brian Pillman 1v1 for the US heavyweight title at Clash of Champions. Chris Jericho and Jushin Thunder Liger. Jericho's poor here and I'm putting him in a title match. Look, I'm giving the guy a go. I deployed one of those creative ideas to Jericho. It said it was a near certainty. It failed and it hurt his momentum. What the fuck? It was a near certainty. I blame my booking committee. Motherfuckers. We get a beautiful Bobby Eaton and a beautiful Bobby Eaton attacks Ron Simmons backstage, dumps the TV title on his face, says he wants to see him in Texas. And Akira Hakuto has won the International Women's Grand Prix in a fantastic match. She is the first winner of the International Women's Grand Prix. Yeah, she was the obvious choice to me from the start. I did hum and haw over which one of these I wanted to win. I changed it a few times to finish over the course of the week, but I said, you know what, my original idea, this tournament was built really to get 3 women over. That was Bull, Akira Hakuto and Manami Toyota, and I think we have achieved that to a decent degree. The tournament didn't go as I envisioned in terms of the placements on TV, but we did get a lot of the matches on TV. Akira Hakuto's popularity has risen massively. Bull's popularity has risen massively. Hakuto is the one with the best performances throughout. Therefore, I gave her the win. We get the contract signing, and the contract signing is going swimmingly. Both men have signed the contracts until Kevin Nash blindsides Ricky Steamboat, and Nash and Michaels put Steamboat through the table. Dastardly actions. The title match is official for next Tuesday in Texas. See what I did there? I think it's a Tuesday it's on. And Michael Steamboat will be in the main event for the World Heavyweight title. Good angle. Main event 88. Okay. Not sensational. Not sensational, but very good. Very good. Like that. It's a very, very, very good match. It's probably one of our top 15 or 20 matches of the year. Everyone performed really well. Probably, I think they might have gotten a little bit robbed on the overall rating. But Terry Gordy pins Dan Crawford after a wild brawl for 15 minutes in a double dog collar main event. So we got matches set up now for the pay-per-view. We got Jericho versus El Dandy for the light heavyweight title. We've got Terry Funk versus Pillman for the US title. We've got Cactus Jack and Ric Flair in a singles match. We've got Steve Austin versus Bam Bam in a Texas death match. We've got Steamboat versus Michaels. We've got Sting and Luger versus the Steiners. Loads of matches on the pay-per-view. We might add one more on the night. We're live from Texas to Kenny. Imagine we're in Texas. We're in actually Dallas, Texas, in the Reunion Arena, I believe it's called, for Clash of Champions 20 pre-show match. Eddie Guerrero picks up the pin in this pre-show match. Starting to click things into gear for Eddie right now. He's got a big Starrcade coming up. 16,500 in the sold-out Reunion Arena. Ron Simmons defends defense number 3 of the WCW World Television title. Decent opener, beating Ron Simmons. We have Dustin Rhodes, Paulie Dangerously, Rick Rude promo from the back. Dustin Rhodes said that Dusty never showed up on Friday night to Ground Zero, and he calls his father a coward and a chicken, a yellow belly. Calls him a yellow belly. And Paulie Dangerously and Rick Rude tease a major match for Rick Rude in the future. Plans are afoot. Brian Pillman beats Terry Funk in a decent match in Funker's home state. Terry wanted to win a US title in his home state, but unfortunately it was not to be. He pushed Pillman perilously close, and Pillman actually has to be carried out of the ring, selling the match by his stablemates Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Pillman, it feels like Pillman stole one. El Dandy defeats Chris Jericho with the Dandy Roll. Again, another decent match, nothing spectacular, but perfectly fine. Defense number 7. He's racking up the defenses. Really, El Dandy has been a low-key MVP in the second half of the year for World Championship Wrestling. Really since, maybe June, July time. It's just been extreme consistency for El Dandy as our light heavyweight champion. Promo from Ron Simmons, teasing open challenges coming up over the next month and a half of television. Ric Flair beats Cactus Jack in an instant classic. Jack passes out in the figure 4 leg lock. An instant classic. Look at that, 98. Just an incredible match. Dusty Rhodes comes to the ring and cuts a promo. So he doesn't want to talk to Dustin, but he's brought a referee with him. He wants to have a match with Dustin Rhodes right now, right here in Dallas, friggin' Texas. And look, it's a fantastic match. Dusty hasn't wrestled on TV in a year. We've saved him all year, and they had for a guy of Dusty Rhodes' age to put in a match at this level. Dustin Rhodes has really come into his own, but on the mic and now seemingly in the ring. Things are starting. We were worried about young Dustin earlier in the year. Things are starting to click into place, but Dustin has defeated Dusty 1v1 here in Texas. And the Steiner brothers pin Sting with the Steinerizer. Defense number 4 of the WCW tag team titles. Lex Luger was the weak link because, of course, he was. Dunphy. I did 2 podcasts with you, Dunphy, a few years ago, where you attempted to convince me that Lex Luger is a Hall of Fame wrestler. The pudding is in the pudding, you know what I mean? The pudding is in the pudding. Look at this pudding. This lad is a pudding. Steve Austin beats Bam Bigelow after Bam Bam could not beat the 10 count. These two, a wild brawl. Bam Bam was decent. Austin was electric. These two have great chemistry. Elevated the match. It's an excellent match. Segment rating 87. And we go into our main event, Shawn Michaels versus Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat with another classic in the main event. Maybe not the highs of his Austin, Flair, Rick Rude matches. But, this is sensational match. Sensational main event. Ricky Steamboat makes, again, defense number 7 of the World Heavyweight title. He is the MVP. He's not low-key MVP. He is the MVP. Shawn Michaels with a great performance. Young, hasn't maxed out on his potential. Wanted to put him in a big spot like this to see how he would perform. He has performed. He might not be at that world title level just yet, but he's definitely getting there. And I feel like this was the right pay-per-view to do it on. There's no pressure to draw massive or anything. That pressure comes next month at Starrcade with whoever we... Oh my God, it's Steve Austin. Austin has come to the ring. Grabs the mic. The last time these two faced 1v1, it went 1 hour. A winner couldn't be decided. He has challenged Ricky Steamboat to the rematch at Starrcade. Austin has challenged Steamboat for the rematch at Starrcade. Excellent show overall. Trying to do some kind of different things there with the booking of having the Dusty versus Dustin match be a surprise. Put Chris Jericho on the show. Have someone like Shawn Michaels, kind of an unheralded challenger almost. We did a Texas Death match there with Steve Austin and Bam Bam. So we did kind of more a variety on it. I had a feeling Flair and Cactus Jack would have a great match. And it felt like a really good pay-per-view for that match. I wanted to give Terry Funk a US title shot in his home state. And like putting beautiful Bobby Eaton in a world television title match. Bobby has performances have improved greatly as the year has gone on from when I had him tagging with Arn early in the year. So yeah, we kind of did a lot of different stuff with this pay-per-view. I wanted to have it feel a little bit fresher, perhaps. Not use all the big stars. Like we didn't have Steve Williams on this. We didn't have Terry Gordy on this. We got some big names in there as well. Liger was on the pre-show. Eddie, who's been fantastic, was on the pre-show. So yeah, we kind of did something a little bit different with this one. But yeah, I very much enjoyed this pay-per-view. Didn't do much for... the pay-per-views generally don't do a whole lot for our popularity in the US because it's pay-per-view. You're never going to do the biggest numbers when people have to pay $50, $50, man. But it has helped in Mexico in particular, and a little bit in Canada too. No media scrum. Oh yeah, that's only for... Yeah, like that even tells you kind of the importance of the Clash of the Champions ones. The game doesn't give you a media scrum afterwards. So it kind of earlier in the year I was putting a lot of like our bigger matches on Clash of the Champions, and I decided to hold off. I did Austin and Rick Rude and Flair and Steamboat at Halloween Havoc. I do still think Steamboat and Flair is the biggest match we have. I don't want to go back to that instantly 2 months later at Starrcade, but I think after the iconic Austin versus Steamboat 1 hour draw, it feels like the right... I feel like the main event from Starrcade should be two guys that we've been building throughout the year. And Steamboat has slotted into that super constant defenses babyface champion amazingly, and Austin feels like our hottest homegrown star. He started the year as TV champion, having decent matches. Somewhere around the middle of the year, everything seemed to click into all the pieces started to fit into place for him. So I think that's what our main event at Starrcade should be. The two guys who have performed the best throughout the year. Rick Rude maybe, but I have a plan for Rick Rude. And Flair has a big match too. I'm going to give Flair what I feel is a bit of a carry job against an old rival of his. And in case you haven't guessed it, I'm probably 99%. This was the long-term plan all along. Going back to Miracle Violence Connection versus the Steiners. The Steiners have never beaten Miracle Violence Connection. Miracle Violence Connection haven't got a shot at the titles in a long time. It's been quite a while since they were champion. Let's have a look. Tag titles, when did they lose them? They lost them in July. We're December now. They've essentially gone 6 months without a challenge for the titles, and ones that they were quite dominant champions of. How long are... So Steiners are 64 days champions. Before that, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk were 59 days. Before that, Williams and Gordy were 140 days. And they haven't got a title shot since then. So it's kind of been one of our early iconic rivalries. The Steiners' performances have improved immensely since they've gone full heels. Williams and Gordy are kind of in that tweener role now. So I think the dynamic will be different from the trilogy we did earlier in the year. If we look at the defenses, when is the last time we had the beat the Steiners? Last time was April. The last Steiners MVC match. It wasn't actually a trilogy, it was 2 matches. So Spring Stampede, and they had 2 really good matches, but I genuinely think that with the current dynamic we have and how all 4 performers have improved throughout the year, this trilogy match will be the best tag title match that we've done all year. Currently the best one is when Cactus Jack and Terry Funk defeated the Miracle Violence Connection to win the titles back at Beach Blast in July. That is the best match we've done all year. But if you look at Steiner Brothers, they're on a bit of a tear here. This Sting Lex Luger one was the weakest of their defenses. I blame, obviously I blame Lex Luger. So we've got some early build for Starrcade. We got a lot of TV in between. I have a lot of plans to kind of, in terms of that 6-week build, on how to keep it like fresh and interesting over the course of 6 weeks. It looks like we're going face Austin versus Steamboat in the main event. So how do we build a face main event at our biggest show of the year with a 6-week build? It's a long time for 2 faces to have to build a match without anyone turning heel, because I don't intend... Austin has recently become a red hot baby face after his turn with his program with his old faction Dangerous Alliance. So yeah, there's an awful lot there that we can work off, you know. And if we go in then to our roster popularity, we look at Ricky Steamboat, it makes sense this the main event. This guy is a mega star. Is he more popular than Flair? Yeah, he's more popular than Flair. Ricky Steamboat is more popular at the minute in the US than Ric Flair. If we look at Steve Austin, mid-80s, he's right up there. Like, let's have a look at Rick Rude and see where he fits into this kind of our kind of big 4 dynamic. He's a little bit less. So our 3 most popular wrestlers really are Flair, Steamboat, and Austin. 2 of them are going to be in the main event of Starrcade. This has been Total Extreme Morrow. Another banger of a show. See y'all All Elite Morrow, Monday nights 7:30. There'll be a new podcast out between now and then. Me and Shane will get in the lab. We'll get in the lab over the weekend. Produce more banger content. Shane has another Bizarre World video coming up. He just dropped the one the other day. The DDP Stalker one. It's fantastic. Check that out. You can still watch back on All Elite Morrow for Monday night. I genuinely think All Elite Morrow Monday night was one of my most thoughtful and reflective episodes. We did the Rhea Ripley Is She a Draw thing. I enjoyed that, despite the fact I kept getting sidetracked trying to start that one. That was enjoyable. We did some good stuff on what I thought was kind of gone wrong with the Saturday night's main event concept. Yeah, so real good episode. Check that out. That's up on the channel. All the stuff on that is still relevant for another week at least. So yeah, lots going on. Thanks a million for tuning in again. The last episode of the current iteration of Total Extreme Morrow is coming next week. Stay tuned. Whatever Shane says, stay sane. Cut your hair. Wash yourself. Eat your breakfast. Drink your milk. Eat your vitamins. go to the gym, have a little walk in the nature for yourself. Woo!